My name is Charles Montgomery, and I am Assistant Director of Athletic Communications / Operations at WVU. While I was a student getting my undergrad degree at WVU, I was with the student newspaper, and so in that time writing for the student newspaper, I dealt with a lot of people within athletic communications to get game information, conduct interviews, and things like that. So I knew of them then. And then once I finished school, I went off and I had a job in television. And after a year and a half of working in TV, I felt that I wanted to get more into the communication side of things and more on the PR side. And so I contacted them to keep an open relationship with WVU, with Michael Fergale, and that led to the opportunity to become a graduate assistant, which gave me more time to understand what this was and all the experience that I needed to gain. Interesting time considering some of the changes we'd had in our coaching staffs with some of our sports and kind of the expectations around some of our teams. So it was definitely an interesting time, especially joining with all the changes that were going on within college athletics with NIL, the transfer portal coming off of COVID and everything like that. But it was a really great first impression because understanding what my role was here and the impact that I could have and what I could make of this position, not only with my own time as a GA, but also with what I could do for my sports. Because when I was here as a GA, I worked with swimming and tennis, and so that gave me a chance to learn more about the sport, but also do more for those sports. I work with our swimming and diving program and our wrestling program. So swimming and diving, it's men and women, so it's about 60 kids. Wrestling, it's just our men's team, of course. And with those responsibilities, I handle roster updates, schedule updates, and then a lot of things on the back end that maybe most people don't see, which is also coaching bios, putting together notes, keeping up with our media guide, which is a big archive piece because it helps keep up with the historical facts of our programs with swimming and wrestling. And then another large part of it is also writing press releases to get news out to the public. But then also it's working with multiple departments within athletics, such as academics, marketing, digital media, graphic design, to get other pieces together to go through the season with our teams. And then a really large part, and what's more part of my job than anything, is doing the social media side of things, running the social media accounts for both swimming and wrestling. And so that is coming up with content, posting content, and whatever it takes to run our social media accounts. It's a lot of give and take. Swimming does not have a ton of media coverage beyond what we have with our students during their capstone classes. Wrestling does have its coverage because it is a televised sport on ESPN+. And so it's a nice give and take of social media gives you a great way to connect with fans, to promote what the team is doing, to promote meets and matches at home, but also to just give a different side of things to our student athletes. That's a big part of what I like to do with our social media, is show a different side. So with swimming, you expect to see swimmers in the water swimming or doing videos of them swimming, but I like to do different videos that it comes with social media. Same with wrestling. You expect to see videos and photos of wrestlers wrestling on the mat, so I try to do things where you get to tell more of a story about who these guys are, who these coaches are. And so I act as that go-between between our wrestlers, our swimmers, our coaches, between fans and the media, giving them an opportunity to tell their story, not only on the way we want to tell it, but also if the media wants to tell a story based off of swimming or wrestling, I can connect them with the right coach, with the right players to do so. Get involved. I think that's the biggest thing with anything you want to do, especially while you're in college. You have a clean slate in college, so your classes are incredibly important. But just as important as your classes is the time that you spend out of the classroom. So it's important to go out, study, do your work that you need for your classes, but then it's also important to go out and have fun, do what you want to do as a student. And then it's also important to go out and find experience, gain experience, either that through internships, volunteer opportunities, whatever it might be. And it never hurts to ask. The last thing you want to do is not ask because you're afraid of the response you're going to get. The worst anyone can say is no. And so I think it's important, no matter what you're doing, just try to get involved. Athletic departments are always looking for other help. They're always looking for volunteers, no matter what it might be. I know from our experience, we are always looking for interns who are willing to work games. That might be running stats. That might be working with television. So it's important just to get involved and to figure out what you want to do. You're 20, 22 years old, and so you can't set yourself down for one thing for the rest of your life. You have to be adaptable.